Welcome to the next part of the introduction section, which discusses the course prerequisites, workload, and learning strategies. This part summarizes the background knowledge students who take this MOOC are expected to have and provides some tips to help students learn the material covered in the lectures and complete the programming assignments and quizzes successfully. More information on these topics is covered in the POSA Frequently Asked Questions or fact page, which I recommend you read carefully prior to starting this MOOC. The MOOCs in the Mobile Cloud Computing with Android specialization are based on material we teach to undergrad students at Vanderbilt University. When teaching these face-to-face courses, we can rely on the students having taken the necessary prerequisites. In contrast, one challenge of teaching a MOOC is that we don't really know what you know or whether you're prepared to master the topics we cover. We developed this MOOC with certain assumptions about and expectations of students who take the course, which are summarized in the FAQ. In particular, this MOOC is intended for self-motivated students who know Java, Eclipse, and Git, want to understand both the concepts and practice of developing mobile software applications, are curious about how the Android software stack itself is designed and implemented, and who are willing and able to carefully read and follow the instructions in the MOOC assignments and announcements. Concurrency is not an easy topic to master, so be prepared to put in a significant amount of time if you want to get the most out of this MOOC. To help align our expectations, here are some things we'd like you to know to get the most out of this MOOC. First and foremost, it's essential to have a good understanding of object-oriented programming in general and the Java programming language in particular. For example, you need to understand Java features like classes, inheritance, dynamic binding, generics, dynamic memory allocation, and garbage collection so you can follow along with the examples and assignments we cover. It's also important to understand core Android programming elements, such as the activities, intents, and user interface components covered in Professor Porter's earlier MOOCs in the Mobile Cloud Computing with Android specialization, as well as the Eclipse Android Development Tools environment. If you're rusty on any of these topics, we strongly recommend you leverage resources available on the web, starting with those summarized at this link. If you're curious about what goes on under the hood, you might also enjoy watching videos from Google I/O on the anatomy and physiology of Android. In addition to being proficient with Java, it's also useful to understand fundamental object-oriented design concepts, such as encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and extensibility. Object-oriented design is the method of planning a system of interacting objects to solve software problems by specifying crisply defined conceptual boundaries that combine methods and data to hide information that's likely to change, thereby minimizing rework as requirements and environments evolve. Likewise, knowledge of class and sequence diagrams defined by the Unified Modeling Language, or UML, will help you understand the structure and interactions between key elements of the Java and Android examples we analyze throughout this MOOC. You don't have to be a UML expert to make sense of these examples, but we recommend you familiarize yourself with UML so you'll understand the notations used by the diagrams in the slides. Finally, it would be helpful if you know something about systems and network programming concepts and mechanisms, such as event loops, multi-threading, multiprocessing, synchronization, and local and remote inter-process communication. You don't need a deep background in these areas, since we'll review them as needed throughout this MOOC. However, if you're interested in learning more about these topics, Section 1 of the 2013 POSA MOOC provides a good overview. There will be around 3 programming assignments in this MOOC, all written in Java using the Android Development Tools plugin for Eclipse. The POSA FAQ outlines which versions of Android, Java, and Eclipse software to install. All the Java source code for the assignments, examples, and Android itself can be downloaded via the MOOC website. The programming assignments will provide you with experience developing applications using a range of Java and Android concurrency mechanisms and frameworks. As discussed here, the assignments will vary for each MOOC offering, but in general, they involve things like implementing an application to download, store, and display images, implementing an application that prints ping and pong successively in different threads, and implementing a concurrent version of the daily selfie application from Part 2 of Professor Porter's MOOC on programming mobile applications for Android handheld systems. The standalone quizzes given weekly will be entirely auto-graded, whereas the programming assignments will be assessed via peer grading, using the process discussed here in the FAQ. If you're taking this MOOC to get a verified certificate, then you're required to do the quizzes and the programming assignments, which will tally using the grading criteria described at this link. There's no 100% accurate way to estimate precisely how long each and every given student will require to watch the videos and complete the quizzes and assignment each week, since each person has different background, aptitude, motivation, learning style, and time commitments. Naturally, you can take this MOOC solely to learn the material and expand your knowledge, in which case you don't need to submit any quizzes or assignment solutions at all. This MOOC covers a lot of material, some of which requires significant thinking and practice to master, even if you've successfully completed Professor Porter's earlier MOOCs in the Mobile Cloud Computing with Android specialization. To help you learn all this material, here are some strategies you should consider when taking the POSA MOOCs. First, watch the lectures carefully, perhaps multiple times, and at different rates of speed, to fully comprehend the topics we're covering. Many of the topics we cover are technically deep, especially the patterns and frameworks provided by the Android infrastructure to support programming of concurrent applications. Although we can't possibly address all aspects of this material in our limited time together, you may benefit from learning more about these topics, either during or after this MOOC. Therefore, many slides contain links to articles, documentation, videos, and source code that you can explore as time permits. However, no quiz questions relate to this supplemental material, so feel free to examine it at your leisure. Additional tips for learning the material in the MOOC videos appear in the FAQ. Although reading the freely available material online is helpful, more comprehensive information can often be found in the suggested reading list that appears here on the POSA MOOC homepage. I encourage you to read these books to gain even more insight into the material we cover in the lectures. I also recommend watching online videos that provide additional coverage of topics related to Android and Java concurrency. For example, videos and screencasts from Coursera MOOCs and classes I teach at Vanderbilt University are available on YouTube. Moreover, if you're a Safari Digital Book Club member, you might want to check out my live lessons videos on Java concurrency and design patterns in Java. I also urge you to seek out Coursera meetup groups in your area, which are summarized here, where you can get together face-to-face with fellow students and further immerse yourselves in the topics we cover. Another way to make this MOOC feel more like a face-to-face course is to attend virtual office hours, where I'll answer your questions and lead impromptu discussions live via Google Hangout and YouTube. All virtual office hours will also be recorded and uploaded to the POSA MOOC website, so you can watch them at your convenience. Even if you aren't able to join virtual office hour sessions live, please participate in the online discussion forums, where you can interact with other students, post questions, give answers, clarify points of confusion, and learn who else is wrestling with the same challenges that you are. The teaching staff regularly monitors the forums and provides tips and pointers to mentor you through the learning process. However, there are only a handful of us, but tens and thousands of you. So please read the policies on forum posting at this link and be respectful of fellow students and staff. In summary, our goal in teaching the MOOCs in this Coursera specialization is to help as many students as possible gain access to a world-class education on mobile cloud computing with Android. The topics we cover are technically deep and take time to master, so we urge you to leverage multiple sources of learning, many of which are listed in the FAQ. In fact, I strongly encourage you to read the entire FAQ at this link, since it provides a wealth of information to help you succeed in this MOOC. If you're inspired to learn more about mobile cloud computing with Android and associated topics like patterns and frameworks, I recommend you check out the digital learning resources available here, which provide dozens more hours of videos and screencasts on object-oriented design and programming with Java and C++, patterns and frameworks for concurrent and network software, and Android middleware and systems programming mechanisms.